All right, welcome everybody to the first match of round of 16 OS World Cup. Plenty of heaters this weekend, and interestingly enough, it's going to be the introduction of 8 teams we didn't get to see in the group stage, and you're going to see one of them today here in this matchup, Australia versus Romania. Australia, first time you're going to be seeing them in this 2025 iteration of OWC. Romania, though, we've already seen a bit of as they fought their way through the Challengers Group B in the group stage as they placed the second seed. So they're gonna be up here against Australia here. Should be a bang of a matchup, super high quality, super good players here. Casting this match is going to be Vordy, and I'm joined alongside the one and only Mavs. How you doing, man? How you feeling about this matchup?
Yo, what's up, Vordy? Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm excited to cast some Australia, of course. We got the double Aussie cast on here against Romania. Try to keep the bias low-key, keep it down low for you guys for the casting experience, but the viewing experience, rather. But yeah, I'm excited to see, like you said, one of our top 8 teams actually play here. The first time, like you said, we're going to see one of the top 8 teams play in the OS World Cup this year, and going up against Romania, seed number 12, and Australia in that 3rd seed position. Romania, like you said, fighting tooth and nail, I would say, for that 2nd spot in the group. It was looking very scary for them, but they did manage to clench it out and get into that position. So here they are in the upper bracket against Australia, and yeah, a tough matchup though, to say the least, for Romania, of course. However, I will say, for a round of 16 match, Australia definitely could have had easier matches than what they've been met with here today. Romania is not a team that is generally easy to beat in especially earlier stages. They definitely have a very well-rounded roster for a lot of different skill sets, especially at this star rating. So not a match Australia, I think, want to take lightly, and I also wouldn't expect this to be a sweep. I definitely am expecting on paper for Romania to get at least a point, and maybe even more.
For Australia, they should be looking at this match with the horror of what happened in 2022 when Romania, in this exact round of 16, winners bracket, reverse swept Australia in 2022, and you unfortunately were part of that. I'm sorry to bring up memories, but it's important to mention Australia needs to take this as seriously as possible, as Romania, unsurprisingly, bans out the double time to one of the core strengths for Australia, that high BPM stamina skill set. And Australia, unsurprisingly, instantly banning Hidden 2. You know, funnily enough, we tri-casted the Emmerich in the previous stage, and he said, you know, he feels confident against Badu and some more traditional Hidden 2s, AR8 maps. Reading Hidden 2s, you're not beating Badu, and this is a memory reading Hidden 2. It's perfect stack memorization. I don't think Australia wants anything to do with that with Badu on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with the departure of players such as JGLF, you probably don't want to be picking maps like this against a team like Romania with arguably one of the strongest reading players in the tournament, if not in the world, on their team. So get rid of that one. Makes absolute sense for Australia, and I think that's the kind of stuff they're going to be wanting to avoid in general, probably going forward in the tourney, but also just for this match. You know, this free mod 2, I think, is going to be a really good angle for Romania. Possibly as a first pick, if not later on in the match. Something like the DT3, maybe some tech. But other than that, of course, just because of the nature of this matchup, Romania's not going to have a whole lot of options into the 3rd seed. Not to mention, this isn't like a convincing 3rd seed from Australia. The 3rd, 2nd, and 1st seed were all very close. So you're versing, you're going up against kind of a very, very strong roster here. Could have been 1st, 2nd, or 3rd seed, depending, it was very slim margins. So it's going to be hard for them, of course. They're not going to have many options. But the first pick's going to come out, and it's actually going to be free mod 1, which is a map you mentioned as well, Romania could definitely go into as some of these free mods. I was thinking free mod 2 might be a bit better for them, but they're going to opt for this free mod 1 early on.
Yeah, so free mod 1, I think for Romania here, picking strat, we're looking at all of the free mods are on the table as options they can pick into. There's going to be that double time 3 you mentioned as, Australia known as a ridiculously good double time team. But that double time 3 alt, aim control, high AR skill set, Romania is actually really, really good at. So they really proved that in the early stages and in the qualifiers. So that's an option. And then some of the no mods, but they definitely have less options to pick into and less convincing ones than Australia. This free mod 1 aim gimmick skill set, you're going to obviously likely have the duo on the hidden. I imagine Eternum or Origin on the hard rock. You know, Australia, as Emmerich mentioned before, they kind of like to
have
their best players go the Nomad quite often.
Yeah, absolutely. You're expecting Emrek, I think, on the Nomad here. Interestingly enough, though, to note is, I would say, free mod pool this week looking pretty rough on Hidden. At least it's free mod 1 and free mod 2. Looking very tough on the Hidden mod. More so than I think you'd usually expect. You expect maybe Hidden to be easier most of the time, but free mod 1 and 2, I think, looking very, very tricky on the Hidden. Free mod 3, not at all, but yeah, these two maps, I think these Hidden players are going to be worth looking out for. See if either of them do tank, but like you said, if Badoo's on that Hidden, I'm not worried at all for Romania. So curious for Australia, I would expect someone like Secret Box to take the Hidden, but perhaps Xaver is going to be opting for it instead, and they'll slap Secret Box on that no mod for the consistency.
I would assume here if Box doesn't take Hidden, it's almost certainly going to be Paler. Xaver likely going to be running the well, yeah. Consistency no mod. We see Romania coming in. This 4-man squad you see for Romania, I think, is their core lineup. They all perform really well in qualifiers. They play most of the maps. You have Badoo, you have Return, you have Chaos, you have Origin. I think Romania is going to want to pick maps where all 4 feel good because that's going to be their strongest lineup. You know, for Australia, you're going to see Emrek and Box on probably everything for every round. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Meanwhile, you'll have Atkins coming in for a lot of maps, and you have here Xaver, Paler, some really, really good aim players. Those two players are. And here's Paler on the hit.
Yeah. Excited to see Xaver's debut here in the OSC World Cup 2025. First map in the actual bracket stage we're going to be seeing from Xaver. Paler, of course, playing last year. Not one of the rookies. He didn't get to play a whole lot of maps last year, but coming in this time for the first map in the bracket stage for Australia. And yeah, that core 4 from Romania, like you said, we'll have to see how they match up against Australia on Romania's first pick. And there goes Origin, the first player from Romania and in the lobby to find a miss, but we're in for a long haul in this one. 3.5 minutes of some fairly uncomfortable aim and a lot of anti-aim as well.
And it seems, you mentioned Hidden is pretty brutal on this map. That AR9 density makes it so much harder. And Romania actually opting on their own pick to overmod it. So they have Kehest and Eternum both on the hard rocks, but do actually going for the no mod. So they are running their most comfortable player on the no mod, as you normally would. So it's just Origin with that initial hit and miss. But other than that, pretty good across the board.
Yeah, and Box actually opting for the hard rock, which, I mean, very competent hard rock player, but not exactly what I was expecting. But he's in here on the hard rock. Like we were saying, the AR9 just arguably maybe even more difficult for some players on this one, but everyone's kind of managing this AR9 very, very well as we get through about 1/3 of the map. Origin's building up that recovery, but Australia's got that 4. And there goes a triple break, 2 on the side of Romania, and Box dropping a hard rock FC for Australia, but that was 2 hard rocks for Romania gone, and there goes the Hidden as well. Origin losing the recovery, Xaver there to trade. But it is a Hidden and a no mod holding strong for Australia here. Emrek and Paler going up against Badoo. So Paler really the difference maker so far.
Yeah, it's always going to be those modded combos that are the first to go and the hardest to hold, and Paler making the difference right now, being the one modded player to hold. Emrek and Badoo, I mean, you can kind of put them as shoo-ins for big combos. FCs, dare I say, but it's Paler, as you mentioned, making the difference, building up all the score for his team as some of the modded players are finding misses. Kehest drops there, Box as well on the hard rock. But as long as Australia can hold this 2-way, that initial breakpoint is looking good.
Yeah, Paler on the Hidden as well. Can't say you're not impressed. Doing very, very well for Team Australia so far, alongside that rock that is Emrek for them, up against Romania's Rockos for Badoo. And recoveries coming up strong for both sides, but there goes one of them. Origin loses a decently sized combo, and Paler finds a miss there. The frustration in the cursor shake. Thankfully for him, I don't think it will matter unless we see a break from Emrek very shortly, but it is a tall order to expect Emrek to miss on a 6-star map with no mod. But it is possible, and it has happened before. Badoo's there to match. It is a 300k lead, and Emrek would pretty much have to miss right about now, I think, for that to even be time.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Xaver, 700 combo, Box 500 combo there, building up that lead still as Origin finds the break. Eternum right behind, matching Xaver on the recovery, especially with that hard rock mod multiplier, but Emrek is just not missing, and with that goes Romania's time left to take this point. Australia will open this with a very strong breakpoint. As Emrek, Badu go for the FCs.
Yeah, the double FC looking strong for both Emrek and Badu, and there it is. The two players you would expect to be on top of the scoreboard are there. Badu actually one missed. Was that at the end or the start? I didn't even see.
I didn't even catch it either way, but I mean, basically low IKFC. Imagine 95% IKFC. May as well.
Low IKFC. Must have missed right at the start of the map and we just didn't catch it, but that's funny. Basically the FC from Badu there, so practically the double FC. Pala putting in work for Australia, making the difference, to be honest. It was a 3 to 400k lead, and Pala had about 300k more score than most players in the lobby, so he really was the difference maker on that hit, and very, very strong stuff from Pala, who, you know, lowest ranked solo player on Team Australia this year. Not going to be in for a crazy amount of maps, but comes in strong on the debut map for Australia this year, 2025, and puts up a very good score. But now we're really switching things up as we instantly go into 256 BPM speed here.
I feel like there's probably people still looking at the scoreboard as Boxster fired away that no mod too. Didn't even have to think about it, didn't even have to consider it. It's 256 BPM speed, consistency. I mean, this is Australia as a map at this round. And also go back to Pala, we talked about players improving. That dude has gotten so much better at hitting in the last year. Some of the stuff he did in ANZT in the lead up to OWC just gave me hope for what he was going to do here, and he's showing that already. But Australia here for their tapping roster. A bit of a change-up to their tapping roster as to previous years. It's obviously still going to be Emrek, Box, Atkins as your core three, but Zintax busy with IRL stuff, so didn't play for this iteration, but we have Cloppet and Superior, two DT speed prodigies who are going to be here this year to fill in that fourth slot. And for Romania, their tapping roster is actually no joke. Their Nomads 2 in qualifiers was very close to Australia's, but I think this BPM will prove a little bit less comfortable for them. Notably for their fourth player, we have Alex Belia coming in. Didn't seem as comfortable on the DT2 in qualies, but we'll see if they're more ready today.
Yeah, I think perhaps some struggles for Romania in getting a solid fourth on something like this. This is fairly straining on the stamina and just the speed component, so it'll be tough, but we actually did see, like you mentioned, Superior step into the lobby, and he is actually going to be stepping out. Instead, we're going to see Cloppet in for their debut map as well for Australia this year. First time playing OWC, but it was interesting to see Superior step in for a moment there, because I was actually speaking to Emrek about the roster, and he was mentioning Superior is a player they're probably not expecting to see really come in for many maps until the later stages, just because he doesn't really have that tournament experience, and just is going to be put on, you know, the higher star rating maps. So was surprised to see him step in, but actually isn't going to be in on this Nomad 2. It's going to be Atkins, Cloppet instead, alongside those core two, and then pretty much what you'd expect from Romania, 3 of their core members, and then Badu stepping out for Alex Belia, as expected. Badu not wanting to play tapping ever.
And I mean, it's a great benefit for Australia. I mean, you're not just picking into what is arguably your best skill set, you're also picking a map that Romania's most consistent, statistically best player doesn't play, and that's just great for you. Takes one, you know, FC off the board basically already, and replaces it with something less consistent. But so far, I mean, you can see Romania keeping up pretty well, but Australia a lot more comfortable on the accuracies, and that is the only thing making the difference right now, other than that early miss from Alex.
Yeah, that's going to be the, you know, story of this map, really. It's the accuracies for Australia are just going to be way better at any point in the map, and it's always going to be like that. So it's just the combos that are going to be the primary, you know, chance for a breakpoint for Romania, but that drop from Kahest is not going to help things whatsoever. Atkins, though, was there to find a trade about 100 combo ago, so still chance here for Romania as Alex Belia builds up a strong recovery, and it's a near 3-way for Romania going up against the 3-way from Australia, but that accuracy, I mean, it's making about an 80k difference so far in the map, and we're almost halfway through, so Australia is going to have to lose a lot of their combos, I think, for Romania to have a chance in this one. His accuracies, like I said, they are not going to let up. There goes Kahest, and that's a combo that doesn't matter for Romania, so still a chance for them in this one.
But I mean, this is just the nature of maps like this. It's the strain. Kahest came out a lot more comfortable, but halfway into the map, it just doesn't really let up, and it's almost 4 minutes long of just pure 256 BPM strain. And some of the players in Romania might start feeling it, but they still have a Turnham, still have Origin, who are looking really comfortable on the accuracies there. So it's Australia who are going to, it's up to them really to find the misses, but Emrek, Box, Atkins, Cloppit, the lowest stack is a little bit below 99. Comfort there is absurd. And Alex finds a huge miss. Origin as well breaking, and now Origin. Romania have just a Turnham on that FC, and now the hope is dying on this Nomad too.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much, I think, at this point, unfortunately, kills, I think, any chance of Romania taking this one. Even if all of Australia was to break, I think the accuracy at this point for Australia is just building too much score for Romania to pull back 500k, even with the FC from a Turnham. So it might be all she wrote, but I mean, I'm not expecting Australia to find a 4-way miss anytime soon on a map like this. It would be shocking, to say the least, as Atkins recovery.
I wonder what the betting odds would be on Australia for like 4-way breaking at this point. I would need a ridiculous return to feel good at all about that. And the accuracy on a player like Box, 99.85 on this Nomad too. Pretty ridiculous stuff. Alex finding another miss at Turnham, no FC. It's very convincing first pick of Australia. It's just Atkins to find the miss, and we'll clop it as a first. Oh no! I was about to say, can he get his first FC on his first snap? But no, won't be the case. Just Emrek and Box to close it out.
Yeah, would have been a huge confidence booster for Cloppit. I mean, I'm sure it still will be. The near FC on his first map of the bracket stage in OWC almost gets the FC, but not meant to be. Should still be a pretty big confidence booster for a rookie, I would say. It's a near FC.
Is that over 1 million on a Nomad? Is that right? Is that right, Mavs?
Oh, is that right?
Is that right?
4 100s from Box? Over 1 mil on Nomad, yep. No,
Nice.
We're locked in today, Box. I mean, he's just on his act game after that Freedom Dive Hidden Hard Rock score. Love to see it from Box. Coming in strong this week, been grinding. And just the act player of all time, really.
I think in terms of accuracy in tournaments, I think right now, like maybe the top two is Malice Box on just keeping ridiculous average accuracies across various stages. As you mentioned, that Freedom Dive score earlier makes me kind of look at Hard Rock 2 as an option, because that is just a flowing Hard Rock map, and Box should be able to eat that up, as well as a really good just team around it. But it's Romania to pick back, and I really like that DT3. I think it's honestly the one map I can say for Romania with pretty like a good feeling that is an advantage map for them. Maybe they don't want to pick it just yet. Maybe they want to find a point elsewhere first. That free mod one didn't work out too well, but it was not too far off. As long as they can get some modded combos going.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned before, it really was just the difference from Pala's big combo that made up like the 300k. So just the difference of one extra player on Romania kind of popping off, and they have the players for it, you know. A player like a Turnham is there. Can absolutely carry alongside Badu, not to mention Keston Origin sometimes putting up huge scores as well, but it's going to be the free mod too. And you mentioned the DT3 being a really good option as well. I think it was this or it was DT3. And they're going to go for the free mod 2 instead. They've still got a chance to pick that DT3, even if they were to lose these next two maps. So I'm sure it probably will be picked, but it's going to be free mod 2 here instead. They are 8.5. And again, I was talking about the hiddens being really brutal on free mod 1 and free mod 2 this week, and this one is no exception. I think probably going to be very tough on that hidden, but still difficult on the hard rock, of course. CS 6.5. It's not going to be easy by any means.
Not at all, but I think the advantage for Romania here is going to be having likely the most comfortable hidden potentially if they put Badu on the hidden. They opted to put Badu on the no mod for the no mod one, for the free mod one, I mean. But I think for this, you just put Badu on the hidden. It's going to be the highest score cap, and I think against Australia, you're going to have to play for the higher potential score. Curious to see if they put. I assume they put Paler on the hidden, potentially, unless they want to put Emrek on the hidden, but I think they'll always put Emrek on the no mods for maps like this.
Yeah, I mean, especially I think with how volatile this type of map is on hidden, I think I would expect Emrek on no mod or even possibly hard rock, but I think it would probably be no mod. Ala probably picking up that hidden again. I think Superior just keeping Emrek's spot warm. I don't expect him to be staying in the lobby for this map. Would be shocked to see Superior stay in for the AR 8.5, unless for some reason they slapped him on hard rock, but I have the two big players for Romania, of course. Badu and Eternum, assuming we're going to see Origin and Kahest. That shouldn't be changing for a map like this. And yeah, we are going to be seeing that, and should be seeing Emmerich and Box come in here for Australia.
Romania went for the double Hard Rock Overmod last time from Eternum and Kahest. Let's see if they do it again. It was Origin for the hidden, but I kind of feel like Badu takes the hidden this time. And it's going to be the exact same free mod 1 lineup for Australia as well. There we go. Good luck, have fun is coming in. And I think the mods are gonna decide Romania's odds at this. I think if they put Badu in the hidden, the cap will be a lot higher. But obviously the consistency will go down. And it's actually going to be Origin on the hidden, so I assume Badu's taking the no mod, and it won't be overmodding this time, Kahest. Just going no mod, no Hard Rock.
Yeah, I would have thrown up if I saw the double hidden from Romania, I think. So I'm glad we've avoided that possibility. There was a world, but it was not this one. Thank God. And here we go, no overmods, as expected. I think you are a psycho to overmod this map. And if it was ever overmodded from any team this weekend, it would probably be a double Hard Rock, just due to the fact that maybe players don't want to play low AR. But yeah, aren't going to see any overmods in this match. Eternum finding an early break, as well as Kahest right at the start of the map. But Australia looking strong early on. Again, another 3.5 minute. Some long maps in this match so far. And the consistency has really been shining through for Australia, so let's see if they can do it again. Eternum with another break on that Hard Rock.
It's actually going to be Box on the Hard Rock again, which is interesting because we saw Xintex quite often last year taking the Hard Rock for Australia, but Box kind of taking the mantle and Xaver coming in for the no mods. Xaver does find a miss, so that kind of evens out the combos here. Eternum finding some struggles on the Hard Rock, but it's up to Box to keep this Hard Rock combo, and does find the miss. It's just such a difficult role to have to maintain. And now Romania with the combo lead. Unfortunately, Origin missing on the hidden, so it's now evened out 2-2.
Eternum as well again, having lots of struggles on that Hard Rock. Can't really hold together much of a combo, but combos aren't huge for Australia thus far. So it's just that double FC, same story as Free Mod 1 so far for Australia, and Badu is there for Romania alongside Kahest with this recovery. Still a big chance for Romania. All it's going to take is one FC drop from Australia here. It is a 50k difference. Even if we see the recoveries drop for Australia and Romania hold on to theirs, there's still chance of this coming back. The accuracies are pretty good across the board. Pretty even, I would say.
For sure, if Xaver and Box find misses and Romania can hold all their combos, they'll win off that. But Paler with the hidden, once again, making the difference for Australia here, as Xaver has that S rank on the no mod, but it's Romania to keep their two-way no mod FCs, as we see the break Origin missing right after the break.
Ooh.
Nerves getting up to him a little bit. Australia still building that score lead. All of the recoveries are still going up.
Can't even blame Origin for that. Cannot blame Origin for that, man. It's so nerve-wracking after seeing a break like that, seeing how close it is, knowing you have to hold that combo. Just immediately loses it right afterwards. But the big combos on Australia not folding. Secret Box is the first to go on that Hard Rock. But Pala, man, has really been a big difference maker for Australia so far. Emmerich and Badu doing what they do best. And Kahest is right there to match Pala, but Pala has that extra combo as well as the hidden, which is going to make a big difference. And we're seeing a break there from Xaver, one of the recoveries down for Australia. So now Romania does have a combo lead, and it will start coming back to them, especially with that miss again from Xaver. It is going back to Romania fairly fast, but I don't know if there's time unless we see one of these FCs drop. For Australia, it might be wraps, but it is close coming into the ending here.
It's very close. It's up to Paler and Emmerich.
Oh,
closing out these whole combos. Badu finds the break. Eternum does a great job in the Hard Rock recovery, but man, Paler on this hidden has been a thing to see in this match. He has been crushing Romania's hopes on these free mods here. Doing it once again with that full combo.
Yeah, I mean, Paler putting up a fantastic performance for Australia today. Of course, it goes without saying, Emmerich as well couldn't have done it without that FC, but Paler doing phenomenally for Australia, especially on this hidden, man. Like I mentioned how hard this Free Mod 1 and Free Mod 2 were with hidden, and gets 2 phenomenal scores on them with the hidden mod. So very, very well done. and I believe it was Kahest as well, coming in pretty clutch for Romania, but just was barely not enough for them. And we instantly, again, no hesitation, go straight into the DT1 from Australia, man. What do you do?
I mean, it's a team that knows their strengths. They know what they're good at. They know what they're the best at. It's these kind of skill sets, and they go right into it. DT1, obviously aim, burst, high BPM speed, leaning into more of that comfortable farmy skill sets. Also another skill set where decent chance Badu doesn't play this. He at least didn't play the double time run on qualifiers, and I do think the high BPM bursts will dissuade him from playing, even if he would be likely very, very good on the aim. But it's a possibility. I mean, if he can tap the bursts, I think just for the aim consistency, him being in would make sense, but...
I mean, I'm trying to recall, is there any longer bursts in this map, or are they really just like 5 nodes? Don't recall.
I think they're generally pretty short.
Yeah, if they're all 5 node, I definitely think Badu stays in. Like, it probably is fine. Obviously, he's going to tank Ak on them, most likely, but aside from that, the map is very generic, so would expect probably Badu to stay in if there's no longer bursts in this one. For Australia, you're going to see pretty much who you would expect, I would say. However, there's a chance we see someone like Superior actually in for this, but probably not going to be the case. Yeah, going to be Emmerich.
Yep, the core DT lineup for Australia. As we see Romania, Robotonic coming in for their first map of the round of 16 stage, coming in as a rookie for Romania. Lots of pressure sometimes, man. You're down 3-0 against a team as good as Australia, and you're coming in for your first map of the round of 16 stage, having to perform on this double time one. But Romania's going to need it with whatever score Australia's going to put up. It's going to be monstrous.
Yeah, you know on Romania here that you need basically just hold your FCs. I mean, if you're expecting Australia to perform how they should perform on paper, you're expecting minimum 3-way on this map. So you know you have to FC as a Romanian player right now, and they're actually going to opt for no Badu on this one. It's going to be Robotonic instead, alongside those core 3 members, and same sort of lineup we saw on No Mod 2, except instead of Alex Bellia, it's going to be Robotonic in. And here we go, DT1. Expecting big combos on a map like this, very standard.
Yep, the most comfortable, a lot of the times for tournament skill sets, they lean into things that people often don't play, but a lot of people play this kind of thing. Robotonic with the first miss for Romania. Australia, look at the accuracies, all above 99, all almost above 99.5. So no sign of weakness there, but it's a short map. So you find any breaks from Australia here in the halfway point, things can turn quick. Romania's still holding onto that 3-way here, all comfortable as well. You have that SS from Origin, Eternum looking cozy, Kahest. Robotonic as well, other than that miss, I mean, everybody can play this quite well.
I think you would expect, right? I think pretty much every team in the tournament, still remaining in the tournament, probably put on a good 4-man for a map like this. But yeah, so far, still 7 FCs intact. Robotonic building up that recovery. Definitely going to have to hold on to that recovery for dear life. One player getting an unfortunate low score on this is going to be already too much of a deficit, I think, to beat Australia, as we see into this next KI. And about 1/3 of the map remaining. Australia still holding onto this strong 4-way. Everybody above 99.6%. Not a single player on Australia below that. But Romania accuracy is also fairly high. So there is room, but that miss from Robotonic that I didn't quite catch, and the chain miss.
Another one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be already too much for Romania to pull this back, and the miss from Origin. It's going to be all she wrote. Australia still holding onto the 4-way with disgusting accuracies. Actually, Emmerich, the only one to tank some Ak in that last chorus. And that is an absurd team score, man.
Easy does it. Easy does it. 4-way. 4.7 million. But from Australia on this double time one, are you even surprised? I can't believe I have to say this, but I'm not even surprised. 3 scores, 99.75%. 3 100s from Box, Cloffit, and Atkins. Emmerich as 99 being the lowest score for Australia. That 2-way from Romania, really good effort, but I mean, it's just too good. The consistency on the skill set from Australia is unreal, man.
I mean, that's what the max score on this map would have been 4.8 million. Australia were, you know, about 60k short of the max possible score on that map. So dare I say that probably does not get beaten by any other team, but it's possible. Definitely four ways. I expect us to see more four ways on that DT1, but with those accuracies, I'm not quite sure. But Romania, nonetheless, going to be going into their pick, and it's actually going to be a map we didn't really consider as a potential pick for Romania, to be honest, but I actually think this does work. It's going to be the Nomad 5 coming out, right?
The original song for this stage, Falling in the chat right now. Yeah, really tough, gimmicky rhythm, CS6 map. Holding accuracy on this holding combo on this is going to be quite a mission, and I do think it's a great pick for Romania. They picked a similar skill set in the group stage Nomad 5, which was also the small circle map, but this is a lot more rhythmic, which I think suits some of their players, especially like Badu. So I think taking Australia out of their comfort zone here, out of most people's comfort zone, honestly, as we get into this original, which I'm very glad to see this here. I think a lot of people wanted to see this map.
Yeah, this is a very funny map, man. Like, the best way I'd describe this is unplayable in tournament. This is the kind of map where you can grind it and get like some nice scores. You get maybe some 700, 800Ks in prac, and you play in 20 and you just get a max combo of 115. And you're like, what went wrong?
Yeah,
and that's basically this map.
And you see Badu in the chat, we remember a reverse sweep versus Australia, and we mentioned at the beginning, indeed happened. It would, starting with this map would be quite the tale. It would be a legend, passed down in the generations, but it starts here. Romania really looking to get a point on the board as the 12th seed, a really strong team, but Australia thus far is just proven too strong. Can they do it on the Nomad 5? If it happens anywhere, it's a map like this that is, as you mentioned, unplayable in tournament. Any shred of nerves, any bit of unsynchronization in your reading or your tapping will cause you to bomb this map.
Yeah, I just remember just watching some of these weird slider patterns and thinking, yeah, I mean, like, I'm missing there instantly in a match. So we'll see. I'm expecting it to be a bit of a fiesta. I definitely don't expect anything in comparison to what we just saw on the DT1. Expecting many misses. I would be surprised to see more than one FC on either side, to be completely honest. But there are players in this lobby that are very capable of it.
For sure. In terms of actually FCing a map like this realistically, on either side, I think we're looking at MREC Badu as the highest likelihoods, but not easy at all. Origin with the first break here. And this intro is the most pleasant, gentle part of the map. It's going to kick right off. Alex Bellier finding a drop as well. Not great. So actually Origin was a bancho, fortunately.
Badu and Emrek, I think, SSing that 1/3 stream. Just already impossible scenes from them. But here we go. Badu and Emrek both finding misses there. Alex Bellier with an early break, as well as Pala. I have a feeling Bancho is going to struggle on this one as well, but we will see very shortly. Atkins finding a miss on nothing in the midst of the map here. To be expected. Emrek actually didn't miss. It was Bancho.
Fake miss.
Yep, fake miss, but Badu's miss was real. As we see still two FCs either side. Origin Eternum up against Emrek and a Secret Box. But Origin finds a chain miss on a random Quinn. For no reason. These sliders, Secret Box cheesing them completely, not playing them properly whatsoever.
And I back that. I back that. It's a combo game. Romania going. It's just Badu on the recovery as Box and Emrek look to go all the way. Emrek finding that miss. It's just Box, the cheeser.
What is this?
It's
Box actually holding on. Oh, he misses on nothing at the ending. Bancho again. Bancho missing about 9 times this match. Was that a real one?
I think that was a real one. No.
I think we got 0 FCs. I think. Yeah, we did.
And by the way, to show this map, Box almost FC'd. He lost his FC in like the last 50 combo and he doesn't even have 700k. That is just how rough this map is. Emrek 96% with the best accuracy in the lobby. GG's, as Australia will not be reverse swept yet again by Romania in the round of 16. They will go all the way this time, 5-0, winning in quite dominant fashion.
Yeah, very well played from Australia there. Multiple S ranks on the board. I mean, really, anything above like 93, 94% on this map is kind of absurd. So, Emrek, I think maybe one other player putting up really good act as well, but very, very difficult stuff. And that is going to be GG's. The sweep coming in. Not what I expected, to be honest. And I'm not even just, you know, playing it up for stream or whatever to seem non-biased. Genuinely, I expected Romania probably to get a point or two, but Australia just playing way too well.
I mean, honestly, Australia's picks were unbelievably convincing, as you kind of expect from a team this good at this stage. The difference maker for Romania's picks, mostly for that free mod 1 and free mod 2, was Paolo on the hidden. Romania just not having an answer to that modded score. And that closed out. I mean, this could have been easily 3-2 at this point if Paolo didn't hold those hiddens, but he did. So big ups to him as Australia look to advance in the bracket.
Yeah, we'll quickly have a check with that one on who they're going to be up against. But yeah, that was our first match of the weekend. So GG's yet again to Team Australia here.
For the bracket, it's going to be Australia advancing to go up against the winner of South Korea Chile. So that's gonna be a kind of a crazy match either way. That's gonna be a really high level quarterfinals matchup. And Romania, obviously this is winners bracket, so they are still in as they lower to verse eventually the winner of Taiwan Netherlands. So that is going to be their opponent. But GG's to both teams and good luck to both of them in the third bracket.
Good luck to Romania and Australia moving forward, but that is going to do us for the first match of the weekend of the round of 16. And I believe coming up in about an hour and a half time at 13 UTC, we are going to have Poland versus Philippines, followed by a fairly short block. We have another short break after that, and it will be followed by Italy, Turkey, Canada, Norway, and South Korea, Chile. So short block today, but tomorrow we've got a big block of matches for you, and most of our matches are going to be on the Sunday this weekend. But that is going to do it for us for now. Thank you very much for joining us for the first match this weekend, and make sure you tune back in at 13 UTC for Poland versus Philippines. I've been Mavs, this has been Vordy, and we'll see you guys next time.
And remember to buy banners. Remember to buy banners. GG's.
Buy banners. Buy banners. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
「怖かったあの頃と